New place, new city, new intro, new review. Coldplay, Ghost Stories. It's the new album from the UK rock group. Not so much rock, I guess, more alternative, and even nowadays more electronic. John Hopkins is at the helm on production on this new record, and he's definitely known for more of his dance-influenced work. You're seeing a few other names, including members of the band, on production for this thing, even as going as far as reaching out to producers like Avicii for tracks like A Sky Full of Stars. There's definitely a sense of direction for the most part on this record. Chris Martin obviously going through the conscious uncoupling with his now soon-to-be former wife Gwyneth Paltrow influenced the writing of this concept record. And it's a really, really cool thing, I think, overall. Just seeing a man going through turmoil in a relationship and coming to gradually accept this change in his life. Going from just kind of being devastated over the loss of a relationship to then focusing on himself and his own thoughts, and then gradually coming to accept it and just that life will go on and he has to choose to continue living his life and making the best of it. Overall, I'm actually thoroughly enjoying this record. Each time I've heard it, I've gotten into it a little bit more. There's something so distant and melancholy about some of these tracks. Take Always in My Head, for example. That guitar riff in that one is just very, very, I don't know, ethereal. It's something that's kind of distant and spacey, calming, soothing, and we see Chris Martin reflecting here on this track, as he does on the majority of this record, but on that one I really enjoy kind of picking his brain on that one, honestly, when I'm looking into the lyrics of that track. Ink is another one that I thought was very cool. It's very hip-hop influenced and oriented when it comes to the beat and production style on the track. I really like his vocal approach on Ink, and overall on this record I think Chris Martin's vocals stand out more than anything, and the way that they're presented the majority of the time are extremely on point. It's something that he's very gifted at hitting these really high notes when it's the right time, and he can also get a little bit deeper. On Magic, the lead single from this record, we see him get a little bit deeper at times, and then he goes, and I don't, and I don't, and I don't, and I don't, hitting the little bit of the higher notes, and then he'll drop it back down on other tracks. True Love, Another's Arms are ones where we see him hitting lower octaves. Another's Arms is one that I'd really like to highlight as one of the standout tracks on this record. I really think that it is the best lyrically on the whole thing, and it's just the most honest in my opinion. Seeing him just being distraught over the thought of, his soon-to-be ex-wife running into another's arms, or for the sake of the record, just really anyone's ex running into somebody else's arms, basically running into another relationship and leaving him to wonder, what am I to do with myself? He's sitting here wishing that he was just curled up with her watching TV, as he admits on the last line of this track. True Love is a track that sees Chris crooning over the vocals on this one. It has some very percussion-y and light production going on in the background. It feels like a very airy track that's easy to take in overall. It's not one of the best per se, but I still feel like it fits in well with the context of this record. Another one that I think definitely fits in on this record now that I've heard the entire thing is the track Midnight, that I was originally very negative towards, but it's actually, believe it or not, turned into one of my favorite tracks on this record. It's, to me, a very, very beautiful track, and hearing it with the rest of this album, it just makes so much more sense. It's so full of anguish and despair, emotion. I love it. It's absolutely vivid in the way that it just kind of presents his mind to us via music. That's the magic of music, and Midnight does something very, very special and unique. It does run a little bit long, but I can't complain about it overall. I really like the kind of trancey and electronic breakdown that it has at the end, and then it goes back to the whole Leave a Light On thing and the reprise there. Oceans is a track that definitely harkens back to the band's debut record, Parachutes. It's very, very light in its production style, and it's filled with some acoustic guitars, some light minimalistic synthy work. A very, very ambient track that was just handled exceptionally well, I thought. definitely makes for one of the best tracks on the record, although I could do without the outro. It does run a little bit long, and it leads into the only really upbeat track on this record, A Sky Full of Stars, which turns out to be my least favorite on this entire record. It's extremely poppy and commercial. They had to have one track on the record that they could market, I guess. But this song is just a big thumbs down for me. Huge mistake putting this on such a well thought out concept record. I'm not saying that this is Coldplay's most memorable work to date by any means, but it's a very well done record in the sense that it flows well together. It's something that's almost like a stepping stone between Coldplay records. The transition that they're making right now, the rest of the band members, Chris Martin especially, transitioning from being in a happy relationship to getting out of that, trying to cope with moving on, and then of course the next record I feel like is really going to see what's happening with this group in the future. Ghost Stories closes out with the track Oh, which is another beautiful track, piano led, throws it back to old school Coldplay in the sense that it's built around a piano. Chris's voice sounds very passionate and raw here on this track, and I think it sends the album out on a very good note. Something about Ghost Stories is very engaging to me. I'm connecting to it emotionally. I do think it's an improvement over their last album, Milo Zaloto, even though my opinions and thoughts on that have improved somewhat. As a whole, I'm feeling a 4 out of 5 for this thing. What did you guys think? Please let me know in the comments section down below. I don't know if it's just me, but I'm never one to just go with popular opinion just because it's the popular opinion. A lot of critics are saying that it's a very bland and boring record and something that is probably some of Coldplay's worst work to date, but I don't feel that way. I feel like it's definitely a transition album that's going to be remembered as a very solid Coldplay record years from now. Let me know what you thought in the comments section down below. Make sure you hit the like button on this review. Check me out on Twitter, Facebook, of course my second channel where I cover movie reviews, track reviews, other music related news, and even some TV coming soon on that channel as well, so make sure you check that out. And of course subscribe to this channel for future reviews. Thanks for watching ARTV everyone, and I will see you very soon.